quick announcement at the end of the video. Make sure to watch till the end. Hello guys, and welcome back to another MCreator Lore video. So today what we're going to be working on is adding a smelting recipe to the Kiln, and we're going to be working on a couple recipes, though I might not actually keep the recipes because we don't really need it for our mod specifically, but basically I ended up starting working on some recipes and getting the tags and stuff set up, which wasn't a huge deal, but I could have used the time a little bit differently. But with that being said, we could just leave them in, and then that would allow us to have some sort of recipe system as well. That's not always bad to have extra additional support. It requires a lot more elements and stuff like that, which when you're working with a entire separate ecosystem, like we're working with Tales of Biomes, like it's completely separate from the base game, right? So it's not really required, but in some cases other mods might still use certain things, so it's all right what we have. Anyhow, I started working on the recipes for the thing. I needed to add the tags, and then I needed to add the tags to those particular items, or the items to those particular tags. And I did this not knowing that I forgot the S at the end of the dust. So basically what I ended up doing was going back and adding the S later on after I realized that when I started working on the recipes. So I started filling out a general pattern for the group name, and we're going to be putting all our dust and stuff under this particular one. And, you know, I might just leave the recipes in. I'm not sure just yet. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see if I can't decide based on your comments. So if I should leave the recipes in. I'm not sure if they will really ever be used because everything is located in a separate biome or dimension, which is not really linked to the regular game. But like when you go into that dimension, like Eldermore, it basically saves your inventory from the old world and loads you a new one in the new world. So, and when you go back, it's the exact same thing. You just swap inventories, so it's not like you really could transfer items between the dimensions. But I don't know. Let me know if I should leave the item or the recipes in, and if not, then I will remove them, probably off camera and stuff like that. But I want to get your feedback first. But anyhow, I started working on the tags again. Like I said, I needed to add support for the blocks, and then I could recraft them into dust. Now this might pose a problem with the system that I'm basically created later on in this video for the crafting system. I needed to come up with some interesting methods of going ahead and making, like, we make the dust from the crusher, and that's fine. We get one dust from that because it's a low tier one. But when we put it into a block, we don't really have a way to do that yet. So we need that in order to put it into the kiln. So I'm almost wondering, because the kiln only slot inventories go up to 20, or there's 27 blocks that can fit in there for smelting ores in the kiln. So if you were trying to multiply that by the amount of layers that there are, then it doesn't really go and stay within the 64 cube area, because you needed to multiply that by 9, because there would be 9 items in a crafting recipe for crafting of the dust. So what I was thinking was doing is basically making a specific block in the future for I could compact the dust into a block, and then it would just require one item, and then it would just give you basically one block in return. Something like that maybe would work for the recipe system using the kiln, because basically what it's turning it into is the refined versions of those blocks. So right now we don't actually have any blocks to swap it out, so I'll be using vanilla copper ones, which will work for now. But yeah, basically I just want vanilla, like a refined version, so we can start crafting up more industrial machinery and stuff like that that will require conductance and stuff. So that's kind of the general purpose for it. Now, right now, what I'm working on is the recipe. I needed to add another recipe for this particular one, and I made a mistake here. This isn't the actual procedure that I needed for increasing the thing. I ended up going back and grabbing the second recipe, which was recipe 2, and that was configured properly for increasing the recipe system and stuff like that. So basically same configuration that I did here with the the registries and stuff. It's just the only excuse me, the only different is the part how it's basically adding the ID at the end. So because I didn't know when this procedure would be running, it should always increase the value by 1 rather than have a static number, unless it's the first one being run, and then it's always like a static number. But yeah, outside of that, that's basically the recipe, and it's just coal for now. We'll be making our own coal eventually and texturing all that and stuff. And it's on my to-do list. I just haven't gotten around to finishing that. There might be more of a requirement for that the more that I think about it, because I want to add pure, impure, and mixed versions of coal as well, and maybe even have it influence the smelting times and stuff for some of the machines. But right now, what we have is fine. Now, what you're noticing me do right now is basically add a integer block to the to a local variable, and then I'm using basically I'm randomizing the thing, and then I'm getting that same value, and then basically adding it to a integer random block. Now, if it's the same number, then it's always going to be the same number, and the only difference is it's going to be just a solid number instead. So it's a little bit different. It's one of the methods that I found that works with making things that need specifically integers. Now, integers don't use decimal points, so it's a little bit harder to do that, but that's one of the methods I found that was a good workaround. So if you ever come across something that in File Manager or something saying that you need an integer, then you can always use that method and use the random block with the static number that's always the same, and then it will work the same. So as you can see, it generates the recipe itself for it. I did look up the smelting temperature for copper, and it's about 1085 Celsius to basically smelt copper. So I basically set that as the base value for smelting it, and then I increased that range to like 200 additional points, just so it's within a range where it can smelt the copper and stuff. So with that being said, I went into game and I basically started placing down some just regular copper blocks. For now, that's what we're using for our recipes. And then I filled this up so we could test this out. So the next thing that I needed to do is turn on the thing, and you can see that all the blocks indicate in here, so we know what blocks are going to be smelting. And I had to let this run for a while because it was taking its time to warm up, because it is like 1085 degrees or Celsius for actually doing it. So I just wanted to check out this cave and see what kind of ores we're generating and if it was frequent. And I do see a lot of copper ore and coal ore, so that's good. I just wanted to know because sometimes it's harder to notice during the surface, so you do have to go underground sometimes. And it does look like we are generating a reasonable amount of ore and stuff, so that's good. Alright, so I'm going to let it do its thing, and we're going to just wait on for that, and probably pop off camera pretty soon, and then we'll pop back in when it finishes smelting, because it's probably going to take a while to warm up to that level. So I think it's about a couple minutes where it a couple minutes that it needs to take until it warms up completely. So those blocks are only breakable in creative. I shouldn't have been able to break it in survival, so that's fine. All right, so cut back in, and as you can see, we have 64 copper blocks. That's what I set, but we kept the material in the off slot, so I'm gonna have to fix that up. I was not aware of this actually breaking like this, so I will have to go ahead and tweak some of this. I'm just gonna double check to see if it's going to clear out the area. It doesn't look like it's clearing out the area, so I'm going to fill this in again and just double check to see if it's going, it was just like a fluke for the one thing, or if it's going to do it again. So yeah, it's basically just going to require the same recipe. So what we're going to do is I'm going to clean that up in the code, and we'll see what we can fix up for the other copper, and see if we can't get some other things in here. So outside of that, yeah, so I'm going to quickly pop out, and I did fix the issue, I think, so I'm going to try again. What it was I was missing a line of code to actually go ahead and get the reset the inventory after it crafts. So basically that's all that was wrong with the code there. So after I did that, I just wanted to test again to see if it would do it multiple times, so it would craft it up and stuff, and yeah, it seems like it will do just fine. So yeah, perfect. All right, and because it's at the same temperature, it can be crafted multiple times like that. Might add a condition in the future where it needs to cool down in order to be inside the kiln part, but for now that will do. All right, so the next thing that I needed to do was just the recipes a little bit more, and I wanted to, like I said, one of the things that were on my mind was that the dust specifically. We have the three types of dust. We have the pure, impure, and mixed. So those should actually yield a little bit different amounts of items, I think. For dust, we might be able to manufacture the dust on a different scale using the crusher, and then just basically shift that amount based on the electric or whatever machine that we add later on. That's an advancement, so we can like increase it by, I don't know, 200% or something like that, or 400%, and that might give it a little bit more reason for going with a electric theme. Now I just wanted to set up the recipes for the other ones for now for the smelting. Now if we go with the compactor for the dust, then what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to definitely give more dust for the crushing part, and that will allow them to get a little bit more yield for different types of blocks, like the different types of quality ore. So if it's pure, impure, or mixed, then it will give you either 1, 2, or 3 dust, I think. And then from that dust, it can be compacted into a block, and then it can finally be put into the kiln for smelting, which will give you a block of copper. So that's at least the idea that I think I'll be going with. We'll probably be working on the blocks next episode and trying to get all that set up, but we'll need a compactor after that. So we have a couple episodes for those two things, and I want to add a progress bar eventually to this as well to show the time as well as the kiln. So there's a few things that I want to do with the kiln and everything like that. I want to show the temperature on the kiln, and just even if it's a string output, and then we'll probably have a crusher, very similar texture, maybe a little bit different design on the front and top, but we might even change the top for this one to be open, so we kind of like if you were to put it inside the kiln or inside the block, it will kind of grind it down, and something like that might work. And having a percentage or a progress bar will really help with show basically if there's how it's basically being crushed and stuff like that. So we might be able to come up with some different ideas for the UI and stuff. But at least for now that will work. It's working for the compacting and stuff like that. We have all the space here. We have like a 3x3 for the actual smelting, which is 27 slots. I have this friend that has their own server hosting company, and they have the lowest prices in the server hosting community, and they've given me a promo code to give to you guys. So if you want to get a good deal for the first month, then you can use the promo code Northwest for 45% off your first month. Offer expires July 19th, 2034. The link to their site is in the description. Anyhow, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. One of the things that I just want to quickly mention is there is a problem with the ocean biome that I created. Basically, it's spawning all the way inland. Something changed with Minecraft data packs that created an offset or something like that to the world generation. I just want to quickly mention that because you might be experiencing the same issue. So just the heads up, and I'll be basically removing this biome for the time being, at least until Mojang fixes the issue. But outside that, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, comment down below, rate the video, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Peace out.